Morning, we have Bill Formby with us here. Hello Bill,
Hi.
how long have you been coming to the IT centre?
About 1.5, 2 years.
And how are you finding it?
Yeah, I really enjoy it, yeah.
What kind of things have you learned since coming here?
How to use the internet, how to go on the internet and search, how to use a memory stick, how to use PDF files.
Is there anything specific that you did want to learn and maybe you have or haven't yet achieved?
I mean, I was thinking about Word. I don't know much about Word.
Right, so that's something we could look at in the future.
Yeah.
So as far as form filling goes for PDFs, were you quite happy you can do that now?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of that, yeah.
And email technology, emails?
Oh yeah, emails are quite important. Yeah, I now know how to retrieve emails and to fill in, do emails and send them. I've needed a lot of practice doing it, but now I can also use all the options on the screen.
Right. You were a recipient of one of the tablet devices
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
received during lockdown. How has that helped you?
Oh, it's transformed my work. With the mobile that I had, which had internet, the writing was very small and the buttons were quite small. And because of various medical conditions, I couldn't use it very effectively with much confidence. The tablet is a much bigger screen and it means I can do a lot of things now quite easily. Also, I've now got two computing devices, so I now know if one of them goes on the blink, needs a new battery, I've got a second one in,
You've got a second,
reserve.
device in reserve, and that also has wireless internet through the mobile phone signal, which again is another good backup for you.
Yeah.
So you can access the internet where there's a mobile phone signal, and you got quite a few gigabytes of data free, which would last a typical user probably a year. If you're a heavy user, it would be a bit less. But during the peak of the lockdown, the IT centre had to close the doors to the public. Were the IT centre able to help you? Could you explain how we managed to make a connection with you while we were in lockdown?
Yeah, what happened was you were able to contact me on FaceTime once a week for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and explain and talk me through using the tablet. So actually, I probably got more contact time with you during lockdown than I would have done if I'd been coming to the class, because you had you for a whole hour.
Yeah, so you'd probably say that was accelerated learning.
It was accelerated, and I managed to master the tablet within the lockdown period.
You did dedicate a lot of your own time to it.
Practicing, yeah, in between, yeah.
But probably that crucial time when technology was being used more, you were able to use FaceTime and any other video calling apps. Was it WhatsApp perhaps?
Yeah.
And emailing back and forward.
Yeah, I was doing that.
How were you keeping in touch with your friends or family?
Messenger.
Or Messenger. Perfect. So would you say you really need to know more than one type of video calling platform to speak to a wider audience?
Yeah, I mean, I must admit I'm not familiar with Zoom, but I am familiar with the Messenger and the Apple FaceTime.
Right, so really it's the other person on the other side who will probably have a platform, but you end up learning more than one to suit the other person as well. But how do you find the differences between the calling apps, are they similar between FaceTime, for instance, and Facebook Messenger? Did they work in a similar way?
Yeah, on the whole, you know, I could work out how to use them, even if they weren't exactly the same, you know, by playing around with the buttons.
Yeah, so they build them or they design these things, and once you learn one, you've almost got the framework for the rest. Would you say that?
I mean, that's why I found the tablet a lot easier to learn. Although it was hard, I found it easier to learn because I'd obviously been doing so much at the centre beforehand. So I knew, if you like, how to experiment on it until I got the result I wanted.
You did very well. I seem to remember there was one time we had some technical issues and I was able to take remote access of your computer.
Yeah.
I did need to get the device from you. We just travelled locally, I picked it up safely, and we set up a remote channel so that if you were in dire need of help, we could dial in remotely using a passcode and we could speak to each other using this remote service. Did you find that was a useful thing, or would you have preferred to be able to come to a centre and get that sorted?
I think, if I'm honest, it would have been easier at the centre, but it was almost as good. And it was, of course, it meant I had to do a lot of the work. I didn't have that direct support. That was no bad thing, really, getting me used to you being distantly supporting me having really to crack the code myself.
Yeah. Time-wise, did you find it was much more lengthy to do it this way?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So probably, in my estimates, it probably took 3 to 4 times as long to do it remotely than it would face to face. How did you find the experience?
Yeah, I'd agree with, well, yeah, certainly, I'm not absolutely sure how long, but certainly it did take longer, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You would be happy in an emergency for that to...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
To that to be the way forward. You don't want it to be the be all and end all. It isn't as good.
No, it's not good as face contact time.
And coming to the IT centre, it's more than just learning about computers and tablets. Do you think there's a social aspect to it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to know you and Jackie quite well over the time, and of course before lockdown we had a lot of people in the room when I was studying. So yeah, it's become a hobby and an interest and a social life, really. Not having a job, obviously you haven't got the people at work to have a social life with, so it becomes quite important.
You probably travel by public transport mainly, Bill. How did you find your tablet was able to help with finding how the public transport was working during lockdown?
Well, during lockdown, the bus company, Stagecoach, did not issue paper timetables. They didn't have anything on the bus sites, bus shelters. So you had to use the internet and their web page to get the bus times that you wanted. And I started off not liking it, but now I've got used to doing it, it's not a problem at all. And I use the tablet to do that.
So there's a web page and a Stagecoach app which you can install on your tablet or your smart device. Yeah. When you're using the device to get the times, I believe it just takes a sort of snapshot of the time you want to leave. It doesn't give you the whole forecast for the day, the whole regime, does it? Or does it?
No, the app doesn't, it just gives you the one. But if you just go straight to stagecoach.com, you can get the whole timetable for the 502A bus.
Right.
So I have actually, to be honest with you, even though we set the app up, I found it easier to just go to stagecoach.com and tap in the number of the bus that I want, and I get a whole weeks worth of bus timetable.
Right, and are the bus timetables, are they back to normal schedule yet, or?
Yeah, near enough, yeah.
And did the timetable keep up with the new schedules? Did they reduce their Sunday service, and the timetable on the app, did it reflect that? Was it in real time? Did you know straight away you were in a Sunday service? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they were updating the bus timetable every 2 or 3 weeks, until recently when they put a full timetable on, and they're virtually back to normal now.
So overall, Bill, you're using a combination of computer, phone, smartphone, tablet to do all your technology, or is there one device that you're focused more on, or do you think you need a spread of devices?
Well, to prepare myself for the changeover in the benefit system, I do need to be able to be competent on all of these devices. But I do tend, with the mobile phone being at the side of my bed, I do tend to use that slightly more than the tablet. And then obviously I'm only using the computer when I come into class. So I'd probably say the tablet now is the main thing. I get an inkling of something I want to look up on the internet, and I look it up on the tablet.
Right.
And the graphics are great, it's just amazing.
So I think overall one device doesn't fit all. Perhaps a large keyboard for form filling from a PC, the portability of the mobile devices for when you're out and about. But in this day and age, do you think you need to learn more than one device to get on well with technology?
Yeah, obviously, right from the start, I was having to learn 2 computers, library and the one that's here. So right from the very start, I learned how to use 2 systems, and it keeps you on your toes. The more systems you have to know, the quicker you have to be able to think from one system to another. And that process of being able to switch gives you a tremendous amount of confidence. So yeah, I think it's crucial. If you just do one device, you then have to use another device perhaps. You've just not got the coping skills. Whereas because I've effectively learnt on 5 if you include the FaceTime, it makes you more agile.
So if we could give a sort of ballpark figure of a 1 to 10 when you started using the device, when you started to come to the IT centre, you put a rating on your level of confidence using them between 1 and 10, 10 being the best. Where were you at the beginning?
I was right at the bottom at the beginning, very lacking in confidence.
And now, a year and a half on, after lockdown, how are you feeling your confidence level is with your devices?
I'm fairly confident now, I think 6, 7, I'd say even more, but there's always something cropping up that I hadn't thought of, and...
So do you think you've got enough skills now to actually dabble yourself and make some headway and go on sort of independently, just relying on the IT centre now and again for additional those problem questions?
What I'm finding is I'm now exploring the different devices and trying to work things out for myself. Yeah.
But would you say anyone could learn it?
Yeah, I'd say anyone could learn it. It's a mechanical skill. There's certain ways of doing things, but I think it would be very hard to learn on your own without the support of people who knew what they were doing. I'd even go so far as to say it'd probably be impossible to learn.
Well, Bill, thank you very much for taking time today to speak to us. It's been great. We'll get on with some lessons now and continue with the good work. Thank you very much.